Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another episode of Eddie's Customs and Restorations. I got a 78 Trans Am right out here, and I already replaced the power steering pump, but for those of you that are in the process of going to replace one for having a leaky pump or whatever, I'm gonna pretty much go over everything you're gonna have to remove in order to replace your pump. So I did this outside, not in the shop, but anyway, here's the old pump, just so you can familiarize yourself with it on what it looks like through the back. One thing you're gonna want to take note of is this plug down here. I believe it's a 1-inch, in case you are gonna have to replace this. You want to look inside and make sure that your new pump has the same flare inside, the inverted flare inside. Also, you're going to want to make sure that your new pump comes with these studs. You're going to need these studs. If your new pump does not come with these studs in this size, you're going to want to transfer these over to your new pump. Same thing goes for this guy right here. If the inside, the inverted flare, does not look the same, you're gonna want to remove this guy. And I believe, like I said, it's a 1-inch, and there's gonna be a spring inside, and this whole thing is about yay long. And that's why they supply you these O-rings, and that's what that piece looks like right there. You're going to want to replace those two O-rings on your original pump if your new pump does not match. Okay, so let's move on over back to the car. I'm going to point out everything that you're going to remove to get this pump out of here. First one is this bolt right here. It runs all the way across and bolts onto the head. You're going to want to remove that one, and this tube is pretty much a spacer to fill in this gap. Let's see here. So that's one bolt that you're going to remove. You're also going to remove that bolt right in there, and that is one of your adjusters. So when you're adjusting your pump, pulling it out this way to tighten up your belt, you're going to want to leave that one loose and this one loose, as well as that one. So these three, this one up here is the one that it's going to swivel on. This one, however, has a slot, like a slit, an adjusting slit, to where you can move the pump, either way to loosen it or tighten it up. Same thing goes for that one. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's also got about a slit about this long. So those three are your adjusters. You can remove the whole pump with the pulley from here without having to extract the pulley, the pressed on pulley, from the pump. So all you would do is loosen up this screw, that one that I mentioned, and let me see, I feel like I'm missing one. No, that's it. So once you take those three loose, you're going to pretty much have the pump already free, right? At which point you're also going to want to loosen up right now that it's in place, so you can have that way you're not trying to hold the pump in an uncomfortable position to get this guy loose. Your high pressure line, that high pressure line requires a 5/8 wrench. The wrench can get in here, a regular wrench. However, if you feel that it's really tight and that you're gonna start to strip it, you might want to move along to some brake or some line wrenches. Okay, so line wrenches, however, are gonna be pretty uncomfortable to get onto there because of the fact that you have your return line right here. It gets in the way. So yeah, anyway, once you take that one loose and you remove your low pressure hose, that's a 1/4 inch, depending on what what hose clamp you have, but generally you're gonna have a 1/4 inch clamp like this, where it just requires a 1/4 inch socket, and you take that one loose. Once you have it out, you're now gonna be left with your pump, your pulley, and this bracket right here that is attached to the pump by that bolt and that bolt. So there's that front bracket right there, and you're also gonna have this other bracket back here that is attached by this nut, and there's another nut on the other side. So if you recall earlier, I mentioned that you have 2 studs back there, and that's the purpose for those studs. You're gonna have to put this bracket onto those studs. And also bear in mind that the stud back there is a little bit longer, and you're gonna have a spacer that you're gonna have to utilize, and that one should be on your original pump. So when you take that bracket loose, there's gonna be a spacer about this thick, and you're gonna put that one on the stud, and then your bracket, and then the nuts. So once you get that done, you're pretty much gonna have now, let's see, you're gonna have your pulley. Okay, so in order to replace or put this bracket onto your new pump, you're gonna have to take this pulley off first. Okay, so then for that, you're going to use, here's the tools, you're going to use this guy right here. And the way this one works is pretty much, you have, this is how it's gonna go set up. So one side has a wider lip than the other. This one's kind of beveled and it kind of curves right here, and this one is more flat. Okay, that is the side that you're gonna want to put on the pump. Okay, I mean on the pump, on the pulley, sorry. So I'm going to show you more or less how it's going to go on the pulley. So you see that little groove that it has? Well, this guy is going to set into this groove. And then you have this big opening right there, right? So that opening is going to get filled in by the tool. So now that we're back here, we had this mounted on the pulley on that side, right? And then, as I mentioned, you're gonna also want to unscrew this guy up like this. Get it real close to the edge. So you're gonna set it up this way, like this. Okay, so then your pulley is over here on this side, and then you got your tool. And then you simply hug it with the other one. Make sure it's the same, because if you put it on backwards, you're going to be starting to wonder why you can't grab the pulley. So make sure you have the same ones facing the same. So then you hug that guy like that, and simply once you have it on there that way, you're going to then slide this piece on through this side, and you'll end up right on top of this. And this sleeve is what's going to hold these 2 pieces together from coming apart. So basically like that. Okay, so it holds it in place so that it doesn't come out. And after you have that set up, then you crank this guy down as much as you can. Once it touches, and of course by holding this one too, you're gonna want to hold this one. So by holding this one still, you screw this one in, and this one's standing still. Once you are locked in, then you start turning this one. You start turning it like this. So you're gonna have a 16mm wrench on this guy, and then you're gonna have a 16mm wrench on this guy, like this, and you're gonna hold that one still, and then you're gonna get your what size is this? I forget. 13/16, or you can use an adjustable crescent wrench that opens up this much and put it in right here, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold that one so that it doesn't move, and then you're gonna crank on this one that way, and then come out, reposition, put it there, and then crank like if you're loosening. And technically you're loosening, you're going to the left, because if you're looking at it this way like that, you're turning it to the left, out, back in, to the left, and that's how you are getting your pulley out. Okay, to install it, you're gonna use this guy. Okay, so once you're ready to install, you are going to this is the old pump, but you want to make sure that there's no trash on your threads. So you're gonna insert this guy in, you're gonna screw it all the way in until it bottoms. You do not want to tighten this one. Just set it to where it stops, and that's it. Leave it there. Once it stops, you're done. And then you're gonna start cranking this one down to tighten. And there's bearings inside of here that allow this to free spin. Look, I'm holding this piece down and it's not rotating, and you see, and I'm still screwing in, and what that's doing is that this is pressed up against your power steering pump pulley, and the pulley is staying still, and at the same time this nut right here is going down the threads, and it's pushing down on the pulley. And you want to get it down as close as you can, maybe leaving it out a little bit, just a hair. And then you want to reinstall, and now you're gonna check for your pulley alignment. Okay, so this is where you want to make sure that you do not get this wrong. Okay, because if not, you're gonna have a squeaky belt and whatnot. So pretty much you want to make sure that these pulleys are in line. So if you're too far out, your belt is gonna look like this. So if you pay attention to the way it looks on the pulley, it looks like it's over to the right, right? So that would mean that the pulley needs to go in more. Okay, and you can do all that work through here. Okay, you just, you know, do the same thing as you've been doing. And sorry, my flash just turned off, my phone got low battery. But anyway, so you know, you can make your adjustments in and out from here, but you want to make sure that you're in line to your pulley at the water pump right there where your fan is at. Same thing if the pulley is, if your belt and you see it like this where it's making a lot of contact on one side of the pulley, that means that your pulley needs to come out. That way the pulley moves this way and it lines up the belt. So that's very important. You want to make sure that you have pulley alignment, because if you have pulley misalignment, you're gonna have a squeaky belt. Okay, so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I'm sorry it wasn't an exact how-to video, but I did my best on explaining how to bleed the power steering system real quick. Leave your cap loose, jack up the car, get the front wheels off the ground, and pretty much just turn your wheel all the way to the left, all the way to the right, back and forth, and you'll see bubbles coming out. If you want, you can start your vehicle at this point, once you've of course added your power steering fluid, and have it up in the air, and very slowly turn the wheels. You can leave the cap off. It's not going to spray out so long as you're going slowly and not going quick. And you'll hear the little whining noise that the power steering pump is making, of course, because there's air in the system. But once the air comes out of the system, bleeds out of the system, that little whiny noise will start to disappear. Also, once you're gonna tighten up your belt for your power steering pump, get yourself a shop towel or old t-shirt or whatever, and you're going to get yourself one of these pry bar, and you're gonna basically stick it in through here, but using that right there. So you're gonna slide this in here like that, and then you're gonna crank down on it, and by cranking down on it, you're gonna be pulling on the belt and tightening it up. Okay. And finally, if you had to take this one loose, you probably already also screwed around with the tightness of this belt, your alternator belt, at which point just loosen this guy up a little bit and pull on it this way, and it'll tighten up, you know, that belt. And at the same time as pulling it, you're going to tighten up this set screw right there. Be careful not to over tighten, because the housing of the alternator is made out of aluminum, so over torquing will cause you to pull the threads out of the case there. So there you have it, guys. I really hope that this video was good enough for you to at least get a little bit of courage to work on your Trans Am, and hopefully get your power steering pump replaced without any issues. Well, thank you very much. You have a good one. Stay safe. God bless.